Hi, I'm Noelle Heil, the host and creator of Heil on Life, the podcast where I talk one-on-one with people who inspire me. My guests come from all walks of life, different jobs and careers, and they all have different motivations that have helped them throughout their lives. I find their stories fascinating and hope that you will too. To learn more, find me on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Tumblr, and Libsyn. And remember, we may have similar stories, but our journeys are all our own.
Hi, and welcome to the Vocal Fries Podcast, the podcast about linguistic discrimination.
I'm Carrie Gillen.
And I'm Megan Figueroa. Wow, here we are.
Here we are on a very hot day.
Oh, yeah. We're Central and Southern Arizona are both going to get above 100 degrees. So that's, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what it is in Celsius.
It's above 40.
Yeah, so just so that, we can make everyone that has, Celsius feel sad for us.
Yes, and as far as I know, this is our first heat warning for the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's time to sweat.
Yeah, from here on until, I don't know, November, it's just going to be hot. The good thing about it is you don't really have to think that hard about what to wear. You just wear summer clothes.
Yep.
Don't have to bring a jacket.
Yeah, and we're recording this on Cinco de Mayo, which brings up something that I saw in the news, actually, because I've been thinking about how a lot of times on Cinco de Mayo, a lot of bad things happen.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happens is that that people put on fake or mock Spanish accents.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
No.
And we totally need to do an episode on mock accents and imitating other accents that are not your own.
Yes, we definitely do.
Yeah.
Harry Kondabulu, do you want to come talk to us?
Yes. Oh my gosh, the whole Simpsons thing. Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, it's in the news right now as, it's something that's not great. And I'm afraid to go outside today because I don't want to hear or see anything racist.
Yeah, that's true.
But I saw an article and I sent it to you about this journalist. How do you call them when they're on TV? They're still journalists.
Journalists.
Broadcast journalists.
A reporter. She's called a reporter.
Reporter. Claudia Tristan Tristan.
I was going to say, wait, doesn't that accent mean something?
I know.
The one thing I know.
I'm sorry, Claudia. In El Paso, she got some heat, shall I say, on Facebook about saying El Paso, and not El Paso. Which is the way you say in Spanish, right? And
right.
The city name is in Spanish, and
right.
I can imagine that a good share of the population in El Paso is Spanish-speaking bilinguals. Maybe. I'm guessing, right? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And that brings up the question. I wonder how they pronounce it in when they're speaking English. Do they is there some sort of decision to pronounce it the more Anglo way most of the time? And that's why the white commentators were just shocked? Or they just don't interact with people who would use the Spanish pronunciation? I don't know.
I feel like it's the latter.
It's probably at least the latter in some cases, for sure.
Yeah, we tend to be in our little bubbles.
Yes.
But I'm thinking about how this happened in Phoenix a couple years ago with a reporter who said Mesa. So instead of Mesa, Arizona, Mesa, Mesa. My dad told me about it. He's a Spanish speaker. He always switches to the Spanish pronunciation. So I think about, we have Casa Grande, Arizona, and how people say Casa Grande, and I'm one of them. But
well,
yeah,
I mean, that is kind of its real name now.
right?
I'm
I mean,
sure
it
at
feels
some
like
point it was pronounced like Spanish way, but
yeah.
it's been a while.
But of course, he's always like, he brings it out, Casa Grande, like always. So I think that there's going to be Spanish English bilinguals that are always going to say things this way, and it's just people being so angry about it. I want to think it's more than just like racism, but what are you doing? Why are you so angry?
Yeah. If you wouldn't be angry if there was no racism involved. You just
Right?
wouldn't. You would just be like, oh, that's another way of pronouncing that word. It's like, would you get mad at a French speaker saying Paris instead of Paris?
No, it'd be like, oh wow, that's so romantic.
I mean, maybe. Well, let's talk about Paris, Texas, because I guess that would be closer equivalent. Would they get mad? I don't know. That's so. From a Canadian perspective, this is just totally bizarre to me because, of course, not everyone can speak French in Canada, not at all. But if someone were like a reporter, let's say someone on the CBC or any radio station in Canada was speaking English and then using the French pronunciation for the French name of the town, no one would even blink. There is lots of anti-French sentiment in Canada, but
yeah,
that just wouldn't be. I've never seen it. Maybe it does exist, and I am just blind and I just haven't noticed it because. But so please let me know if I'm wrong. But I just from my perspective, this is just totally bizarre, and so therefore I have to think
it's
must
racist.
Be racism.
Yeah,
must be racism.
Yeah, I mean my instinct is always racism, but I actually think I think it's true this time, especially since I don't want to go too deep into comments, but the one that they actually like screenshot for the article was from a woman named Beverly saying, I hate how she says El Paso. It's like she's saying with an A.
I didn't even understand what that meant.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because when you pronounced it the Spanish way, I didn't hear an extra A.
Right. And anyway, thinking about how Spanish vowels are said, you even say the vowels shorter than, like it's not as long as we would think that English vowels are said, So like.
Yeah, the E in
the duration
particular
would be,
is
yeah.
The E and the O are shorter than they are in English for sure.
Yeah. So Claudia wrote back, I'm saying El Paso correctly in Spanish as it's written. Thanks for your comment though. And then Beverly wrote back, anytime. It's a strong accent though. What Beverly, go home.
Let's remind everybody, everyone has an accent. Every single person who speaks out loud has an accent.
Yeah.
Secondly, what does strong even mean?
I know. It goes back to racism.
Yeah,
It's a little bit too strong for me. Makes me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. Do people not want to be reminded that there are so many place names that are in Spanish because this used to be Mexico?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
maybe very subconsciously, but probably.
So yeah. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Oh dear.
So we have some new Patreon.
Yes, we have
friends.
A few new ones from last month. We have Emma Trentman and Kimberly Sorellis. So thank you so much.
Yay.
And yeah, so if you want to become a Patreon, we have the $1, $3, and $5 level, and you can support us to help us continue doing this really fun thing that we do.
I know. I made a joke on Twitter about how I was a professional millennial, and I just thought, oh wow, it's a joke, but maybe I am because I have like a podcast.
Yeah,
and I don't have a job really.
Well, you just finished, so
yeah. Well.
Our next episode. So this episode, we're going to be talking with Issa Wurie from London, and he's a bus driver. So he has like such interesting things to tell us about London, life in London. And he's also the co-host with his wife of Young, Free, and Coupled. Yeah. But after, in 2 weeks, we're going to have an episode on like.
Yes.
So that'll be super fun.
Yeah, it was fun to record.
It really was.
And with Issa, that was a really fun recording too. I think that we probably lost like half of the recordings. We just like chatted for a super long time.
Probably.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
But it was a long enough time ago that I don't remember what was cut out.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I just remember the poor man was recording at like 1 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a very interesting schedule.
Yes. Well,
all right.
It was fun, so hopefully y'all think so too.
Yes. And here it is. Here's the episode.
Yup.
Okay, so today we're interviewing Issa Wurie from London, UK. And he's the co-host of the podcast Young, Free and Coupled with his wife, Shamika. And he's here to talk about his speech impediment and also, hopefully, London accents and all things London. So welcome, Issa.
How's everyone doing?
Good, you?
I'm feeling great. Over here in London. You know, it's been quite a nice day for me today, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, even though we've made you talk to us at 1 a.m. over there.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I would like to point out it was your suggestion.
Okay, yes, you got me there. I can't say much now, can I? No more sympathy.
So, yeah, you suggested that you wanted to talk to us about your speech impediment, and we haven't talked about anything like that yet on the podcast. And I think it's really interesting, especially since you also have a podcast. So, yeah, what did you want to tell us about what it was like growing up with one, what it is that you have?
Okay, well, yeah, I did kind of reach out to you guys because I really, really enjoy what you guys are doing. I think,
Thank you.
I just think it's really cool. Whenever I see a new episode is out, I'm excited to see what you guys are going to discuss. Yay. And probably my favorite one was where Ghana talk English. Yeah, because I grew up with my stepdad. He's from Ghana, and he spoke Twi, which is one of the languages in Ghana.
Very cool.
So
yeah,
that was really cool to just listen to while I was at work. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, it'll be cool if I could actually come on and talk to you guys, because as I was growing up, I never, like most children, I never liked going to the dentist. I was always, my mom would say, all right, come on, it's time to go. And I would be like, no, I don't have to go. And then when I did, the dentist would kind of say, well, his teeth are fine. They're not growing as straight as they could, but they're strong and he's okay. And I would be like, see, mum? But then obviously, as time's gone on, if you don't get braces and stuff, then your teeth start to grow in different ways. They start to grow a little bit crooked. And it wasn't, I'm 32 now, and to be honest, it wasn't till about 5 years ago that I realized that I was changing the way that I spoke, so that I wasn't stumbling over my words all the time, and you know, I wasn't like biting my tongue and doing all these weird things just because of growing up with my teeth growing a certain way. And I always remember one time I kind of said to myself, you know, you're actually changing the way that you talk. You're changing the way that you pronounce words. And, you know, it made me slow down my speaking a lot just so that people could understand the words that I was saying. So I don't know if you will call it like self-imposed or, you know, something like that. But that's kind of the issue that I'm dealing with. Plus, to top it off, I decided to do a podcast with my wife. So I decided to talk and, you know, hopefully have people listen to me. So, yeah.
Right.
A few things.
And was that scary? Did you feel like you were putting yourself out there in a way that might cause some, I don't know, some judgment by people? Were you afraid?
Yeah, I was, because as you get older, it can go one of two ways. You can either be more sure of yourself, depending on how you've grown up, or a lot of insecurities can creep in. And as I got more sure of myself, I did get more insecurities. And, a lot of podcasters say this anyway. They say in their first few episodes, when they listen back to it, it's like, who was that? who who was that talking? Even people that have gone back, that know me, that have listened to our first two episodes, they've kind of said, why were you talking like that? And it's like, I'm trying to talk properly so people can understand me, because more people hopefully will be listening, and people will be like, well, we can understand you properly anyway. When you talk like that, it's just weird. It doesn't sound like you.
Right.
And that's something that's actually helped me a lot. People saying to me, be yourself. Sometimes it takes a lot to have that kind of courage.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. What would your friends say then, that the way that you're speaking to us now is you being yourself or not being yourself?
I've like my friends will definitely be able to tell. They'll say, "Oh, you." What they would say is, "You're talking more proper." That's how they would say. You're pronouncing your words properly, because normally, how I would normally just talk if I'm just doing stuff, I talk quite fast. And obviously, I spent my whole life growing up in South London, and so I use the slang. I use all these different things. My dad is from Sierra Leone, and my mum is from Jamaica. So if you mix all of these stuff in, I've got my own way of speaking. But when I'm gonna talk to someone or on the podcast, I try to talk a bit more of the Queen's English. I try. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're talking to your wife or your kids at home, you would be using the southern London slang.
Yeah,
and all
definitely.
That.
I would be. Yeah, I'll be pulling everything out the bag. I'll be. It's just normal, because I grew up in a time where London slang, it kind of was, lots of people were starting to talk with London slang. Not that people weren't doing it before, but it became more allowed. You were allowed to talk like that more. I know it might seem a bit weird, but because of like music and advancements in technology, and things like YouTube, being able to speak to people from all over the world and being accepted, and people saying, oh, your music's cool and the way you talk is actually really cool. Me and my friends and stuff, we actually, a lot of the slang that you might hear in London, if you were just to get on a bus in London and listen to some of the younger children, it's my generation that made up quite a few of these kind of words. So yeah, it's just, I think I just grew up at a time where there was still a lot of people that would look down on you for talking with like the South London slang, but at the same time we were kind of empowered as well, and because we were young, we didn't really care. When you're young, you've got that kind of rebelliousness about you, don't you? It doesn't matter what other people say. You kind of, as long as you have your friends there with you, then you kind of just do whatever you want. And slang was a big part of that.
Do you have some examples of London slang for us?
Oh, there's so much. With South London slang, it's almost like, patois from the Caribbean. We take a lot of those words and we just pronounce it a lot quicker and a lot harsher. So we would say something like man dem or gyal dem. We'll say something like that. Whereas if you were to go over to Jamaica, they'll be like, oh, they'll be like, oh, the man them and the gal them. It will be more relaxed, but we'll be like, man them, gal them, especially because of the music that we have here called grime music, which is like kind of like sped up rap music.
Ah.
Yeah, so a lot of our slang is
Cool.
just sped up words. So we'll say something like bagger man. Could you guess what that meant? Bagger man.
No.
No.
Nope.
That means lots of people. So it's
Oh.
like saying lots
Oh.
as in bags. If you were to say I got bags of this item,
Oh.
so we'll say bagger man,
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting
And
it. Yeah.
we'll say something like bear. We'll be like, oh, there's bear people over there. Bear as in lots of.
Hmm.
To show a lot of. If you bear something, you're showing a lot of it. So that's that. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I'll try and pull some out for you guys and see if you can guess
That
what
would
I'm
be
saying.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool that there's a lot of Jamaican influence.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
because it's a lot of it is to do with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
When our parents came over after the Second World War to help out in England and fill in a lot of the jobs that was needed to help Britain get started again. So like in the transport industry and in the hospitality industry. So they came over in floods, boatloads. A bagger man came over.
Nice.
And obviously they had children, and back then they bought music, they bought food, and so my generation is like the third generation. So you had the people that came, their children, and then we come next. So we're a bit more rooted,
Yeah.
and we have a bit more of a say in the culture. So a lot of these words you just get, I would say, just normal people just kind of use it and understand what it means, which is it's really funny to hear sometimes, actually. People that you would think, they're going to be talking like proper English, when you're saying certain things, they'll know what you're saying.
Right.
Which is really, it's really fun because London is very multicultural, very
Yes.
extremely. And
Right.
I wouldn't want it to be any other way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I think it's much more exciting as a multicultural city than it would have been back in the day when it was less multicultural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have no knowledge of London. I have not been there. What is South London like? Like what? I don't know. If you're from London and someone says that they're from South London, what does that mean? What does everyone know about South London?
Okay, so features of South London is they're very, the differences are so, they're minor. It will be hard to because it's so easy to get around London. Like when you come to London, you can't walk for more than 2 minutes without seeing a bus stop.
It's true.
There's buses everywhere. You can get the underground. You have trains, and it's so easy to get about. So it's been like that for so long. But one thing I would say about South London is like a lot of the slang it originated in South London. Like the music I was telling you about, which is grime music, it kind of started in East London, which is funny because that's kind of like where Cockney kind of originated. But every part of London has its own feature. So when you're south of the river, you get a bit more of Cockney. You get a bit more of Cockney speak, and you get more people that you would hear. But it's using Cockney. But it's so hard now because everyone just mixes with everyone else. So things that I notice when I leave South London, and it's probably a little bit to do with from when I was young. I just think South London is better, and I know that's a bit bad to say, because if you were to get someone
No.
from North London, they'll be like, "No, North London's better." But in South London, you've got all these different parts. So I've lived in so many different parts of South London: Lewisham, Croydon, Brixton, almost everywhere. I haven't really, to be honest with you, spent a lot of time in North London. It's only as I got older, for work, and as you get older, you naturally want to explore your city more. So I would cross over the river and kind of, to be honest, when I was younger, my grandma lived in North London, and I think quite a lot of people from the Caribbean, they lived in North London as well. Especially you've got a lot of markets like Dalston Market, where a lot of black people would go there to sell, all these exotic stuff that people had never seen before. So in that regard, North London, it had a lot more of the Caribbean feel to it, but nowadays I kind of look at London as just one big place.
And so, does that mean that your accent is considered a Cockney accent?
Oh no
no?
way! I mean,
Okay.
Cockney accent. It's more like, oh, you all right, mate? How you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm gonna go down and have a butcher's, and they've got their own complete different words. Everything is different. I don't know if you've heard of a show called like EastEnders.
I have, yeah.
There's a show we have.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so East London is Cockney.
Yes.
East
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a show. It's called EastEnders, and it kind of revolves around like the market is a big part of it, and you would hear them shouting out stuff, oh, come on, love, come and have a look at what I've got here. I've got this stuff for you, So it was really, that show is more based around like the Cockney kind of lifestyle. I don't even want to pretend to like say anything in Cockney because I'll kind of butcher it so badly.
Yeah, me either.
But in a lot of films they use it. If the film is set around East London and it's to do with like, the like gangsters, like our version of gangsters over here, in a Hollywood movie, to show that, oh, these are like gangsters from years ago, they've got like a heritage of being gangsters, they would pretty much give them a Cockney accent and people would kind of understand, okay, they're Cockney, so they've got like these certain traditions,
Oh, Tommy, there's a gun in your trousers. What is a gun doing in your trousers?
It's for protection.
Protection from what? What's to stop it blowing your bollocks off every time you sit down?
Is there any media that represents the South London accent that, any movies, TV?
There's a film called Attack the Block, and it's got an actor called John Boyega.
Oh yeah, we know him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. I latched onto something.
Yeah, we know John Boyega.
John Boyega. He grew up in Peckham. Okay, and Peckham it's a place where a lot of black people live. So when you come to Peckham and you go to like the market, there's a lot of African shops, a lot of Jamaican shops. You hear music, you hear patois, you hear a lot of like African languages, and you just generally see more of the black culture. So loads of people in South London, we really love John Boyega because we feel like, oh, he's kind of like, we're so proud because it's like, not that making it out, oh, you made it out of this bad place, but you had a big dream and you went for it and you got it. So we're really proud. But when he was younger, he was on that film Attack the Block, and if you listen, I love watching that film because they use the slang perfectly. Because he was younger as well, so you hear a lot of the stuff, man. Them, you hear them talking, about loads of the words.
That's an alien, bruv. Believe it. Must have come from outer space trying to take over the Earth, innit? When I landed in the wrong place, though, you get me? The wrong place. Welcome to London, motherfucker.
What other films are there? There's another really good film. It's a film called Kidulthood.
Oh.
Kidulthood, and then the next one is actually called Adulthood.
Oh.
And then I think the third one is called Manhood. Especially Kidulthood and Adulthood. If you watch those films, you hear South London slang all the way. It's uncompromising. So if anyone out there is listening, then those are the films.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, would you say the soundtrack's good too?
Oh, the soundtrack is yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
if I really like when I see a lot of YouTube videos of people from like America and Canada when they hear South London slang, because it's just because of the way that we say it. So you see, like when I said to you, bagger man, there's a bagger man over there. It's like, what? But then when I kind of explain a bag of, it's like, okay, I get it. There's so much that you get in that. YouTube is a great example because what does that do? People can go on there and be themselves, and people all over the world can hear it. And, I think it's kind of getting a bit of our slang is kind of had a little bit of a jump start with rappers like Drake, certain rappers from Canada who kind of use that slang. They've always used the slang, but I think because the British like urban music scene is making a lot of strides, it's a bit more accepted to hear it in music. Because one thing that we didn't really used to like with our scene is we would always feel like our music was looked at as inferior to hip hop in America. Obviously, it makes sense because hip hop in America started way before our hip hop scene, grime music, kind of got anywhere. But now, grime music's probably been around for probably like just under 20 years. If you go right back to the roots, so we're really starting to root our slang and our sayings and stuff into the music that we make. So if you listen to UK grime music for a couple hours, you'll start to pick up slang yourself.
Do you have any examples of grime music that you like?
Yeah, there's a really good artist. He's called Stormzy.
Stormzy?
Stormzy. Stormzy. So he's quite recently been making quite an impact actually around the world. If you were to go way back to the beginnings of grime to hear kind of how it started, how the beat started and stuff, Dizzy Rascal.
Okay, Dizzy Rascal. Okay.
Dizzy Rascal. I like the way you guys say it, Dizzy Rascal.
I know, you're very different.
No, it's Rascal. And also Wiley, Wiley. If you go on like Apple Music, Spotify, and put those artists in, their music's changed now. But if you check their earlier work, when they were really pushing to get their music heard, they purposefully were using slang. They were kind of even overusing it. And the music is very punchy and hard because, they're trying to make an impact. The impact's being made now. Money's starting to be made, so it's not needed so much. But they do still make really good music.
Cool.
But and one more word that you're always going to hear in London is in it.
In it, yeah.
In it.
Really?
You're always going to hear. You're going to hear it used in so many different ways. It's not just going to be used as a substitute for isn't it. It's going to we use it we use it a lot as like positive, what's the word? Positive affirmation, kind of like, I might say something like, I'm going to go to the shop and get a packet of sweets, innit? It doesn't make sense to say I'm going to go to the shop and get a packet of sweets, isn't it?
Right.
But it's kind of something that we add on at the end of our sentences, just to kind of make sure that the person that we're with is with us.
Right.
You know? So that word gets used a lot. We don't pronounce the T, it's just in it. And everyone just knows what we're saying.
Yeah, this came up before because in Res English it gets used a lot too, although it is with the T in it. But it comes from the inne that you use.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's making its way around the world slowly.
Apparently. So I wonder, what are you... So you said that when you're podcasting, you try to speak a certain way. What are you teaching your kids about language and how they speak? Is there anything that you actually like directly tell them about language?
It's interesting because we actually homeschool our children. We've been doing that for just over a year now. I don't say to them, don't speak like this, you have to speak like this, because I think it's really important for children to have freedom and hear how I talk, because they normally hear me talk just how I normally talk. They don't really hear me when I'm podcasting, or I don't really have any other reason to talk and pronounce my words better. So they're starting to pick up words. They're starting to say, things like in it, and back in when I was young, to be honest, like my mum was likely to say, why do you keep saying in it? You talk properly, and teachers and stuff would say that. But I don't hold them back. Obviously, when they are learning that the actual English language, how to spell, how to the Queen's way of pronouncing things, then they know how to say it that way. But when they're just talking between themselves and with their friends, they know all the slang that I know. Sometimes my kids' friends come and they're playing on the computer, and I'm in another room, and me and my wife are just sitting down, hoping no one gets hurt, and we're just hearing these kids just use the slang. And I think it's good, because if that's the environment that you're grown up in, so long as you're being looked after, and you're not teaching children rude words, they're gonna pick those up too. Like I'm not in some sort of like la la land where I think they're not gonna hear anything bad. But why not let them speak like a Londoner? There's nothing wrong with speaking like a Londoner,
Right.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's definitely like the music to our ears, I'm sure. As like having the podcast, we're like, no, just speak how you will, because the way you speak is perfect. No, that's great. Yeah, kids pick up on everything.
Yeah, they do.
But it's great. It's great to see things like that. It's that your children are integrating. Just picking up, learning things themselves. Yeah. And can't hold them back.
And they'll add their own special twists to it because of the friends they have and where their friends come from, and it's all very, very neat. It's very cool that all of this we're all
yes, we are. And do you know what, guys? Another thing that's really interesting. I'm a London bus driver. Okay, so. Every day I'm up and down London and I'm hearing school kids, and there are newer words. Okay, if you wanna know what's new and fresh, you have to talk to like my younger brothers and stuff, because they say some things when we're just talking in normal conversation, And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? What did you just say? You know? And they'll be like,
Yeah.
one word like that, they use a word, they say moist. They say, oh, that's moist.
Really?
And one time they said that, I was like, okay, so what does that mean? You know? It basically means when someone is being a bit like a bit flimsy, a bit, you know, you can't pinpoint what they're trying to do.
Ah.
Be a bit wary of them, and you know, it's obviously got a negative connotation, but they would say, "Oh, that's moist. Oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go and okay, let me think of a good example. All right, so this guy, he's always going around bullying people, but he's moist, man. I'm not hanging around with him. It's that kind of a vibe. That's something I actually learned not too long ago.
Interesting.
And yeah,
Wow.
new words coming up every minute. Not even new words, but new ways of using the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, definitely. And you said you were 32, right? I'm 30, and I'm like so sad that I'm out of that element of all the new slang. I have to like get it after it's been used for a couple months. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
know. It's one of the things that we have to just go through. You know,
I know.
unfortunately.
I don't think I was ever cool enough to be on the cutting edge of slang, so yeah, moist is interesting because a lot of people hate that word. Like it really skews them out. So apologies to the listeners who don't like the word moist.
Oh, sorry, listeners. Sorry.
No, yeah, they have like a visceral reaction.
know.
which is
No,
hilarious.
because with
Sorry.
a word like that, I won't use the word again. Okay. It even when you say it, your mouth has to move in a certain way. So it's one of those words, you know. I'm tempted to just say it really slowly, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
It's okay. We have an explicit.
Okay,
It's fine.
good. That might be one of the new like swear words that we get in maybe a couple 100 years. Who knows?
It's possible.
Who knows?
It's true. We don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah, because what becomes a swear word is so dependent on what's taboo. And since this word is now becoming more taboo, it might.
Yeah, you never know. Like we've got a word that we use and we say raw. We say raw, yeah? And that's like if something is surprising and you're really shocked, you'd be like, raw, did that man just get hit by a car? You know?
Right.
And when I was actually younger, that word raw, it comes from patois. So when my mom would hear raw, and even like my wife's mom, my Shamika, the other my co-host of the podcast that we have, okay, my wife, her mom, she's from Jamaica as well. Shamika was born in London. If you say raw around them, they'll be like, oh, it's a naughty word.
Really? What does
But
it
nowadays,
mean?
okay, raw is short, okay, for rascalot. And you just hear that and you just think, okay, that doesn't mean anything. But if you like, clot is like cloth. Okay, and ras is like, it means, how can I... It's women's genitalia, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So it's saying like, you know, that's what you are. You are that like piece of cloth. Like back in the days, probably that's what they would use. That's what you are.
Okay.
So when people use that word, it's a really strong word with serious like history behind it. But what we did, we just shortened it, thinking, you know, we'll just say raw. But nowadays, you hear kids, they've even kind of lost a bit more of that meaning. I'm kind of living and seeing like how children nowadays are using that word. And it's got less and less of this bad meaning attached to it. So that's actually quite interesting when you think about it like that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty common
really
for
is.
words to sort of lose some of their impact over time. And when we talked about swearing, I mean, fuck does not have the same impact that it used to. And it's very interesting also that it's like referring basically to menstruation, right? Like that is one of the huge taboos out there. So it's not surprising.
It shouldn't be.
I know.
It shouldn't be.
Agreed.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
No.
because
Agreed,
come on, let's. What's the big deal? But I guess that back in the day, unfortunately, this is the kind of things that people would use against others. Things that they know that you can't really change something like that happening to you. You don't really have much of a say if that's happening to you. So, pretty much. So people can kind of use that against you. Like a lot of words that are used against people, like their color, their gender or something that people can just pick on straight away. So yeah, it does have serious history behind it.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I bet a lot of the kids using it these days have no idea.
They have no idea. And if my mum was sitting there, my mum would be just about to blow. So.
Yeah. She'd be so disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
in you.
I do not say that around my mum. I don't even say, oh, rah, this happened. Because I will still use that word.
Yeah.
That's how I've grown up.
Yeah.
So if I'm just talking, that word would come out. But if you listen to a lot of like dance hall music, which is like more kind of upbeat reggae music, like the Bob Marley kind of reggae music, a bit more upbeat, they're using certain words and stuff, because when they're saying certain things, they want it to make an impact in the music. They want the listener to really know what they're trying to say. So really interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah. I joke about this with Carrie every episode, how I learned so much every time. But it's true. Like, how else would I have learned this without speaking to someone
It's
who
true.
has
Yeah.
lived
And I
it?
will say I've probably this one has been the most informative for me as well, because I really didn't know about a lot of the slang for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, if you got a couple minutes, if I tell you some like words and you guys can try and guess it, if I just give you a couple.
Okay, sure,
How does
why
that
not?
sound?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
so
yes.
all right, first I'll just tell you the word and then I'll give you some context, yeah?
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
skeen. Skeen.
Okay. Okay.
Can you imagine what that would be used for?
Skeen.
Skeen. Well, you said it really good, Carrie. You said it like skeen. You pronounced that perfectly.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
So you got to drag it out a bit. Okay, so
Is it?
that's
I don't know.
what
Is it?
that's what you say to someone who just really is slimy.
Okay. What?
Ooh,
No.
interesting.
All right. I'll give you context. So,
Okay.
someone might say to me, "All right, so I've done what you asked me to do, and everything's going well now. So let's start moving. Let's start going where we're going." And I'll say to them, "All right, skiing."
So
So is it kind of like
okay.
yeah, go
Yeah,
pretty
pretty much.
copacetic? Everything's good. Kind of
Yeah,
like?
yeah.
We're settled.
Interesting.
Like I see now. Skiing. Okay.
Interesting.
All right, let me give you one more.
Okay.
A really good one.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Rare tete.
Red.
How about attractive?
Oh,
Say that again.
Attractive?
Okay, that's a good guess.
I'm gonna guess
That's a good guess.
slimy. No, I'm just kidding.
What that means is like etc. It means
Ah,
Yeah.
and on and on. So I would say you know, and then we went here to the park, and you know, we're just doing normal stuff that you do in the park. We had a picnic and we sat down, we're talking and tear, you know, that kind of a
nice.
yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
So yeah, there's a couple for you.
awesome.
How
Thank
would
you.
you say slimy?
I think I'd actually just have to say slimy. I would just or it'll be like, he's moving a bit funny. He's moving a bit funny, you know.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
He's moving a bit weird to me. But it's a lot of it is how you say the
sure.
thing, you know. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Is any last messages? You know, how many listeners do we have in the UK, Carrie? Is there?
I don't know, a few hundred. I think actually, let me think. I think it's about the same as Canada, so that would be. I'm gonna say a couple hundred probably.
Wow, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So most of our listeners are in America, right? U.S.
Yeah, 60% are in the U.S. Yeah.
So what is like the last thought? What would you want our listeners to know? And you know, most of them are dumb Americans. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm American.
You're allowed to say it. We're not.
I'm just kidding, America.
Is that question to me? Sorry.
Yeah. So
last-
it's like, what would you want them to know about maybe South London or what is? I mean, now I want to go there. I want to go to there.
It's a really cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say if you come to London, all right, try and jump on a bus, visit lots of places, because if you just stay in central London, things are really expensive, okay? And visit other areas, because then if you go to certain parts of London, there's a huge Indian influence. You get great Indian food. If you go other places, you get great African food, great Polish food, some parts of London. So really, you know, travel around and listen to some of our music, get some of our slang, and you know, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Take your time. You might have to slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
You know, so even now when I'm talking, I might say certain things. Play this podcast at 0.5 times so you can really get what I'm saying. No, I'm joking. Yeah, just come and try and visit all around, and you know, jump on a bus. If you're lucky, you'll get me driving the bus, and just take it all in. London's a really great place.
Yeah, and
really is.
know that moist doesn't mean what you think it does.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. This was great.
I've had a great time. Thank you.
Yeah.
And as always, we leave our listeners with one final thought. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't, please.
Bye.
Bye.
Down in my sound man gear. Yeah. Talk about me, you better hashtag problem. Adidas crepes, don't ask where I got them. Don't ask where they are, don't ask if I cop them. I go half of my team, I go half of my squad. Where'd you get Rolly from? I do not know this don. Where do you know me from? Out here like the road deep song, man, I'm trying to put my coldies on. I do not know this don. Where do you know me from? 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 Where do you know me from?
The Vocal Fries podcast is produced by Chris Ayres for Halftone Audio. Theme music by Nick Granum. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Vocal Fries Pod. You can email us at vocalfriespod@gmail.com.